Hello and thanks for joining us on this Monday morning here in Seoul. I'm Mark Broom. We start with North Korea this morning. There are concerns the regime could carry out a provocation today to mark a key anniversary. Pyongyang has a track record of lashing out on dates it deems important. There are a number of options open to the regime, but some experts believe the day will come and go with no unusual activity. Connie Kim starts us off.
The South Korean military is on high alert for any provocations as North Korea marks the 71st anniversary of the founding of its Workers' Party on Monday. Sunday was the 10th anniversary of North Korea's first nuclear test, but no unusual activity was detected at the Punggye nuclear test site. Analysts say there are three types of provocations the North could forge ahead with: a nuclear test, a long-range ballistic missile test, or a missile launch from a mobile launch pad. A long-range missile launch is considered highly unlikely, as the North has stated it'll notify the relevant international authorities prior to any firing, which they have not done. South Korea has noted that another nuclear test is a possibility, following the regime's most recent test in early September.
North Korea is always ready to conduct a nuclear bomb test. The South Korean government is closely monitoring the situation and fully prepared to counter such provocations.
South Korea's military authorities also say there is a possibility North Korea could suddenly launch a medium-range Dodong or Musudan missile from a mobile launch pad. But there are also experts who believe the day will pass without a provocation. They note that restoration work following the worst flooding the North has seen in decades has yet to be completed. They also say Pyongyang will most likely wait to see what punishment the UN Security Council hands down for its September 9th nuclear test. Connie Kim, ARIRANG News.
Now, the United States has deployed one of its nuclear-powered aircraft carriers to South Korea for a joint naval drill, which begins today. A U.S. military official says the USS Ronald Reagan will take part in the six-day Invincible Spirit drill. The Allies plan to mobilize dozens of warships and submarines for the drill in a show of force against North Korea's nuclear missile provocations. The U.S. is set to continue sending major strategic weapons to South Korea to heighten military pressure on Pyongyang. A prominent U.S. think tank has warned that North Korea could have an extremely formidable nuclear missile arsenal in less than 10 years from now. It says the rate of development should worry Washington, especially as some in South Korea and Japan say they should develop their own nuclear deterrence. Kim Mo-kyun has more.
The RAND Corporation says North Korea may have enough material to develop between 13 to 21 nuclear weapons, and by as early as 2020 and as late as 2025, it could possess up to 100. It says Pyongyang is currently in the process of developing missiles with nuclear warheads that can reach the continental United States. The report also says that in the next 6 years, the regime will have numerous long-range, road-mobile, and submarine-launched ballistic missiles that are capable of invalidating Washington's regional military posture and war plans. The report also said that if South Korea perceives a major threat from the North, Seoul might launch preemptive attacks on the regime's nuclear and missile facilities. If that happens, the report says it could lead to counter-escalation or even make North Korea launch a preemptive strike first. With Pyongyang's nuclear development, some in Seoul and Tokyo are losing faith in Washington's nuclear umbrella and are calling for the development of their own independent nuclear arsenals. However, the think tank warned a decision by South Korea or Japan to develop nuclear weapons would eventually lead the other to follow suit and fundamentally change security dynamics in Northeast Asia and threaten the viability of the Non-Proliferation Treaty. Kim Mo-kyun, ARIRANG News.
Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are facing off for the second U.S. presidential debate, which is pretty much about to start. Moderated by CNN's Anderson Cooper and ABC's Martha Raddatz, the 90-minute town hall debate is being held at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri. Unlike the first and the third debates tonight, the two candidates are expected to answer questions from not just the moderators, but from audience members who are largely undecided voters. Clinton has been prepping for the debate for days, making no public appearances, while Trump's campaign has been rocked to its very core by the release of a 2005 recording in which Trump is heard bragging about groping and trying to have sex with women. His senior advisor says Trump may bring up the sexual history of the former President Bill Clinton. Hillary Clinton's husband at the debate will have a wrap-up during our next newscast at noon Korea time. The Vice Chairman of the US Federal Reserve has pointed to the central bank remaining on track for a rate hike before the year ends, citing solid economic figures. Speaking at the annual meeting of the International Monetary Fund and World Bank in Washington on Sunday local time, Stanley Fischer said steady progress on jobs, continued growth and faith that inflation will rise towards the Fed's 2% target has set the stage for policymakers to raise rates in December. However, Fischer said the economic outlook is inherently uncertain and that the Fed's assessment of the appropriate path could shift in response to changes to the outlook and its associated risks. US interest rates are currently between 0.25 and 0.5%. And that is where we're going to leave it for now. Do stay tuned to ARIRANG TV, and we'll be back again in around 2 hours from now with more news. So until then, goodbye.